Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 19 of Viva Broadcasts. This is our final installment on our July webinar series. All three directors hop on to thank everyone involved throughout the entire month, give their thoughts on their favorite episodes, as well as give you a little insight into the future of Viva Broadcasts. If you have any requests for future panelists or guests, please reach out to us and let us know.
All right, hello everyone, and we are live with episode 19 of the Viva Broadcasts. My name is Dakota Corbliss. I'm Director of Operations, and I'm joined by Sam Ambrose, Director of Program Development, and Buddy Deshler, Artistic Director for the Brass Institutes of Virginia. Welcome to our final broadcast of the July webinar series. We are thrilled with how it's gone and who we've been able to work with. First off, if I can have a chance, guys, I want to thank everybody that has been involved, all of our guest artists, all of our presenters. Obviously, there were some of our faculty that did their own presentations on things you might not know that they were involved in. And we also had a ton of people from across the country and around the world that joined us this month, and I just want to say a huge thank you to them. I want to give a heartfelt thank you to all of our faculty. In the trumpet section, we have Dr. Derek Ganong, Mr. Sam Huss, Dr. Peyton Shelton, that did all the Viva premieres, obviously Buddy as well, our trumpet faculty. In the horn section, we also have myself and Mr. Juan Barrios. In the trombone section, we have Dr. Andrew Friedrichs, Dr. Kenneth Johnson, who did a ton of awesome warm-up sessions this month, and Mr. Will Baker out in California, and also Dr. Timothy Shade, who played a good bit of the Viva premieres as well as conducting some of our videos for us. Our rockstar euphonium player, Brianna Engelbert-Vogt. Tim also played a little bit of euphonium, and obviously our tuba faculty, Mr. Sam Ambrose. With all the Viva premieres, I also want to give another shout out to Tim, who did a lot of our arranging this month. Derek, who did a lot of our audio editing of all these remote stems that came in, and also Mr. Michael Miner of the U.S. Navy Band in Chicago, soon to be Italy, I believe, for doing all of our mixing. So if you need any of that kind of work, reach out to those guys. And yeah, I mean, just a huge thank you to everybody that was involved this month. I don't think that we could have ever imagined it going the way that it did, and we are really, really excited about the future of Viva Broadcasts. So, because July has been so incredible, we are planning on doing Viva Broadcasts throughout the year. They won't be every day, so if you are tired of checking out all of our Zoom sessions with all these incredible people, don't worry, they'll be a little bit more sparse. And we actually have our first guest lined up for next Tuesday in the afternoon. I believe it's at 5 p.m., if that's right, Sam. Cool. And is Miss Abby Lannon, who's going to be giving a presentation on her Media Maker sessions she's doing with Scott Sutherland next week. The first session is on Monday, so I definitely recommend you go check that out on her page. And I believe Pedal Note Media is advertising it as well. So go check that out. If you enjoyed any of the Viva Premiere stuff that we did this week, or if you follow Abby as the Goofy Youth on any of her social media stuff and like what she's doing, she's going to show you how to do it. So it is ridiculously cheap for the amount of experience and expertise that you're going to get from those two. So definitely recommend it. I recommend go checking that out. And then she will be here on Tuesday talking with Sam about that kind of stuff, her social media presence, and just, her career so far. I cannot believe that this has turned into what it is. It's been really cool to see the growth of the festivals virtually during this time, because I know both of these guys are super bummed that we could not hang out this summer with all of our participants at the actual Brass Institutes. I don't know if you guys want to talk about that a little bit.
I do have to go back, and we all need to give a giant shout out to Dakota for all the legwork he's put in behind the scenes with all the images, all the posting, all the video work, all these Viva premieres and video. He's getting not only musical stems and musical takes from us, but all these videos that he has to edit and create to make these really awesome and authentic performances. So thanks for doing all that as well, our resident editor. Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
Much appreciated.
And much deserved. Yeah, as far as thinking about the, what this turned into, for anyone that's familiar with either the Fredericksburg Brass Institute or the Tidewater Brass Institute, these summer chamber music festivals in Virginia, in my hometown of Fredericksburg and in Dakota's hometown of Virginia Beach, Norfolk, it's it's on our minds the entire year. We're recruiting, we're advertising, we're promoting, we're getting all the details, we're fundraising, but it technically feels like it exists 1 week a year, each of those festivals. So that is our opportunity to really be interacting with the participants, with our fellow faculty and colleagues, as well as the guest artists and the communities that we're visiting. And then, because of the pandemic and everything, and for everyone's safety, we could not do that. So we wanted to provide something for our community and our audiences and our listeners and our participants, past, present, and future. So we thought we would do some master classes, some Zoom sessions, some educational ventures, as well as some performances. And the idea was to just provide something, but the fact that it turned into this was just absolutely incredible. And everybody stepped up. Everybody took time and effort and energy, all of our faculty, absolutely the directors here. And I'm just amazed at what we decided it to be and what it's going to look like in the future, and for Brass Festival engagement throughout the entire year, still serving the same mission of providing education and jokes and things like that with our community and with our audiences. So this is an ever evolving thing. So we also would love your feedback on like your favorite episodes, what things that you found most beneficial, your favorite guests, as well as some things that you'd like to see.
Yeah, so if anybody is out there watching, whether you're watching with us live right now or you're watching post live broadcast, feel free to throw any questions you might have for any of the directors or any of the faculty members into the comment section below, and we'll try to get to your questions as quickly as possible. Especially, we really want to know, what kind of content are you all interested in? Similar to what Buddy was saying, what were your favorite episodes? What kind of content would you like to see more of? What kind of content that maybe you're not seeing from us that you'd like us to dive into as well? We're very, just like Buddy was saying, we're very into serving our communities, and, with so much of our own personal history into the communities that we serve, we want to not only serve those communities and bring other communities into it, but also expand and reach out as far as possible.
Yeah, I think, one thing that we made a point to do over the course of the month is that, one, we're the Brass Institutes of Virginia. So you kind of assume that a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about on these Beaver broadcasts is brass playing, brass pedagogy, and those experiences of people, in many different veins of music. But one thing that I thought was really cool that we did is we made a point to make sure that, hey, we have this avenue and this platform to make sure that we're talking about all other kinds of veins of entrepreneurship, conducting, chamber music, orchestral music, audition prep, stuff that might not necessarily be native to just brass. And, obviously I think moving forward, that'll still be the primary focus, but we are more than happy to bring on people that are skilled in other things. Like, for example, our mixer, Mike Miner, is going to be doing a video for us on how he approached mixing us down, because I can only imagine, I have no skill in mixing at all, what it's like to get 12 different MP3 files or WAV files from everybody, and line them up and make us sound like we're all playing together. It helps that our faculty is incredible, and they're obviously playing their parts to perfection, and it makes the lives easier on the back end, but still, I can't imagine what that's like and trying to make everybody sound like they're in one room. So Mike is doing something on music technology, and Derek did something on Studio One earlier in the month, and I think we'll be asking him to do one on Studio One 5, which is new now. So that'll be cool. We had Tim talking about conducting. We had David Cutler on talking about entrepreneurship. So if there's something that you think that we missed, please tell us, because we would love to talk about it, and we'd love to, bring that to the fore.
I don't know how Mike made me sound in tune. I have absolutely no idea. He's truly a wizard.
I don't know either. Yeah, it's crazy.
Truly a wizard. So now we don't have to be in faculty rehearsals and people be like, buddy, can you just a little bit? Thanks. So no, it was absolutely a treat to get those stems and like listen to everybody on faculty that I would be hearing in the same room, but hearing like how much time and energy and passion they put into those recordings. So having a large variety, as Dakota was saying, of topics, guests, materials, and things like that. I would also just like to do a quick shout out to any young musicians, any young brass players, as well as music teachers. Because of the pandemic and everyone's safety, our opportunity to see you and to work with you and talk to you about music and about the brass festivals has become a lot more challenging. So the Virginia Music Educators Conference will not be happening. I'm sure everyone in Virginia, at least, who's a music educator is aware. But that is our opportunity to get to know you, to meet you. So please reach out with any questions. You can visit our websites, Fredericksburg Brass and Tidewater Brass, to find out more of what we're going to do. We have every hope and intention of having our live festivals in 2021. So some of the things that we're already trying to facilitate and organize are bringing back the artists that we had promised for 2020. I know everyone's schedules change, but we hope to have them. And if there's any changes, you'll certainly hear about it. But missing out on our live festival definitely wants me to do more when we come back live, but it also has opened up so much more of what this organization can be and will be. So please reach out with any questions that you might have as far as what it will look like, and we'll tell you what we know so far.
Kind of a random question that we didn't really talk about before we got on the cast, but I was wondering if you guys maybe had a favorite episode that we did this month, and if you wanted to talk about it. Because I asked the question, I'm going to mute myself and think about my favorite episode and let you guys talk on the spot. Go!
Sam, do you have one off the top of your head?
I'm trying to think, so if you have one, you could go first.
I don't want to offend anybody by picking something else. However, I also thought of this question, so I thought of two. I enjoyed all of the ones, all of them, because it was a chance to see old friends and artists and stuff like that. But probably the one I was the funniest on is the two that come to mind is the episode that Sam and I did, that we did with Dave Federley. Because if you ever get an opportunity to watch him teach, some people talk about like, oh, I went to this concert and like I heard this person play, like I heard her play or heard him play, and it was just like, oh my gosh. We get that just by watching Dave Federley teach and interact with people, with humans, because he can teach anybody of any skill at any age and be exactly what they need. And yes, he has such a rich history of a performance career and of mentors and teachers with Arnold Jacobs and his time in Chicago at Northwestern, and playing in a brass quintet with Phil Smith and Bud Herseth and all these things. But hearing his stories and hearing his approach and hearing his passion come through was probably one of my favorite things. The other favorite thing was weirdly our first episode with the three of us, because that's when we realized that this was going to be something more than we thought it was going to be, at least for me. Because we did it and we're like, okay, we'll just talk about what we're hoping to do. But then we're like, people watched, this was fun, Zoom worked, all these things. So that's when it started that we can actually make this a lot more. So when we had even mapped out, the month, some of the behind the scenes stuff, we decided to add more people to it, because we're like, I think people will join us with this. This doesn't just have to be certain artists and certain faculty. Like, let's bring more people to this party. And they came, and it turned out to be so much more. So those are my two that I can think of.
Yeah, I do have some fond memories of that first episode, because I was out camping in the mountains in Vermont, and 5 minutes before our broadcast started, all the power and internet went out in our little trailer we were staying in. So I had to drive down a mountain a few minutes just to even hope for some signal and call from the side of the road. So definitely a great first podcast for me. It's very memorable. I think if I'm going to think about any of the episodes I may have appeared on, I really enjoyed the panel discussion I did. I've never run a panel discussion before, so I was very nervous and sweating bullets before, because I think the panel was an incredibly inspiring cast of directors from all across the country that definitely left me, just listening to a chat that I was facilitating, I was very inspired to, think about all the different ways that I could, help all the different, positive missions they were pushing. And I think the favorite episode I really enjoyed was your entrepreneurial student podcast, buddy. Yeah, I imagine that. I like something you did.
If it's not my playing, it's my podcast.
I really like the different approaches and the different careers of everybody that you had on there, but and the fact that most of them had not met each other before, and how they could even collaborate in conversation showed exactly what you were talking about, and just showed all the different things that we as musicians have to offer throughout our, not just our careers, but our lives.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I think that, sometimes selfishly, I always think anytime I get the opportunity to work with my dad, it's really fun, mainly because he's a lot more funny than me. So I had a really good time having him and Jason Ayub on. Both you, Sam, and Buddy, I really, really like both of your discussions. If you haven't had a chance to check out Sam's panel discussion, there is a ton of really, really great conversation about the current climate of what America is right now, and I highly recommend doing that. It's always fun to work with some of your mentors, so having JD and Andy and Lance on was great. And I really liked Tim and Tom Keck's The Modern Conductor episode. That was something that, going into it, I didn't really know what to expect, but what Tim and Tom talked about in their respective institutions and what they are moving forward, and gave a lot of positivity on being a musician and starting your music education now, because they were both adamant, like, this is a great time to start being a conductor, because you have time, and it was really interesting to me. We live in a summer of gloom where we're all stuck in our houses and we have cabin fever, and they just made my day that afternoon. So shout out to Tim and Tom. You guys kept saying podcasts, and I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the broadcast about the future of what these are going to be. If there is a session that you really, really wanted to watch, and you cannot find it in the absolute mountain of content that we did this month on our Facebook pages, Dr. Ganong has been doing a lot of post-edit work, and so we are going to be posting all of those videos on YouTube with permission from the guests, and we will also be releasing an audio-only version. So eventually they will have, oh, look, a little applause. You guys are clapping. We're going to be putting the podcast on through Anchor, so they should be on Spotify and iTunes and anywhere you get your podcasts soon. Once that does happen, we'll be sure to let you know. And so I'm really, really excited about that. I didn't know the process of putting stuff on, as a podcast, but it's cool that now I can say that I'm part of one, so it makes me feel fancy. And I'm sure it'll look good on a CV. So,
do you have a fancy title planned out for your podcast job? Do you have like a fancy title that you thought of?
Direct. Oh no, I don't.
Like,
do you have one?
I don't know, like co-creator of exceptional content development or something like that. I'll work on it. I'll think of some things. I'll think of titles for us.
The title is a dissertation itself.
Yes.
Yeah, right. It actually, yeah, that would be good. Yeah, Sam, go ahead.
Well, I want to give one more big shout out. I don't know if you got to it before, but big shout out to our trombone faculty, Dr. Kenneth Johnson. I'm still trying to get used to saying that. Dr. Kenny J. For leading all of our weekly warm-ups Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If some of you have caught that, they're not just for trombone players. He's going through a lot of different content, a lot of different pedagogies. He's bringing guest artists on, so be prepared. Probably not in the same frequency as well as the Viva broadcast, but you're going to start seeing more warm-ups as well to start to bring a lot more of that content.
Yeah. So to recap on things, This has been a great month. It's been a busy month, and we are going to continue and expand upon what this is. It'll be more spaced out as far as the Viva premieres, the video recordings, as well as the interviews, Q&As. We are turning the content that we have, as well as the future content, into YouTube videos and podcasts, audio-only podcasts. So that is in some post-production stuff. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from you on your favorite episodes, as well as some of your favorite guests that you would like to see. We are not just talking to brass players. We are just not talking about brass playing, but we are doing other aspects of life and music. So other areas that are worth exploring, please reach out to us either through the Fredericksburg Brass Facebook page, Tidewater Brass Facebook page, Instagram pages, websites, my personal cell phone number. No, please don't. But there's lots of ways to get in touch with us because we can't be in person making music, talking about music, teaching music, and explaining and showcasing what these festivals have to offer. This is our opportunity to stay connected with all of you. So please do so.
I'd also, one thank you that I forgot to mention was to Mr. Frank DeKelly, who allowed us to put together Blue Shades, which was our final Viva premiere of the month. I cannot highly stress the fact that you should reach out to composers when you arrange their works, which is advice that was given to me by a very wise man who is wearing a blue polo on this broadcast. I should say light blue. So sorry, buddy. But yeah, I mean, Mr. DeKelly was extremely open to what we do with our interpretation and really dug it. And if you haven't watched it, it was a lot of fun putting it together, even though my computer probably overheated too many times with all the videos. But we did do Blue Shades, and it's on both pages now, and it is on YouTube as well. So check that out. A final plug for that video that dropped about an hour and a half ago. So thank you to Mr. DeKelly. Really appreciate your coordination with us for this. It was a lot of fun.
I think that's
I don't know. Do you guys
about
have anything
it.
else that we want to talk about? Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think
Sam, do you have
I think
something?
we've got some mouth trumpets, and
I think mouth trumpets are up for consideration here at the end of this episode. I really got to make a compilation of all the mouth trumpets we got in July.
yeah, we've had a festive month of mouth trumpets, a lot of different variations, a lot of different philosophies and
Did you guys
schools of
catch,
thought.
did you guys catch Andrews yesterday?
Andrew's mouth
pretty good.
trumpet.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he used the back side of a trombone mouthpiece. It was very interesting, like the shank on it. Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
check it out if you haven't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think mouth trumpets are in order. So
Note that
thank
this
you again
happens
for
at the
everyone for joining
end.
us today. Yeah, the end. So if you want to just go back and look at all of the videos.
Yeah, skip the other like 59 minutes of every episode and just get to the good stuff at the end. That this is where the real music is happening.
All right. Well, here I'll start us off with a. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. It has been an absolute blast for this month, and we are really excited for the future guests that we are going to have throughout the year. If you have anybody that you suggest, feel free to send us a message, and we will do our best to have them on because it has been awesome bringing all these people together during a time that is frustrating for musicians. So until next time, check out Abby Lannon's Viva Broadcast episode 20, I believe, on Tuesday at 5 p.m. with Sam, and we'll see you there.
Thank you for joining us today. Don't hear about Beaver Broadcast, as we mentioned on the show. If you want to see some more, you gotta reach out. You gotta reach out. You gotta email Dakota. Dakota at brass.com, and we'll be sure to set it up. And thank you for listening.